Now, I wasn't really going to be talking about this since this concerns the US election. I decided to make a exception to the rule. I found it very interesting when I posed the question in Sweden, where I'm from, that in a recent poll that was done in Sweden or more or less around the world, and around 81% of the Swedish population approximately said that they would rather prefer, Harris to be the president rather than, Donald Trump, which only got about 19% of the vote, which is very hilarious because of how ubiquitously unpopular he is here. Also, he's even rather very unpopular among our, right-wing government mostly. But there is a not so, small contingent of our, far right, population that really likes Donald Trump. They are the aforementioned 19% who would rather see Trump over Harris get, elected to the US president. So who are these guys, and why do they like Trump over Harris? Now, before I get onto that, you have to first understand who are these people. There are people who are part of the Swedish Democratic Party, well, democratic in quotation marks at least. These people are very, very, very far right, and they are currently part of our Swedish government because they have been assimilated or something for some reason. Well, the reason why they really prefer Trump over Harris is that they really hate immigrants, really, really hate immigrants. They almost to the point that the entire party ran on the immigration problem and how, the left, or so they like to say, are letting immigrants come in and, do all sorts of things. Despite the fact that the reason why there's a lot of, problems with immigration here in Sweden is due to a lack of, proper integration, but they don't really care about that. They just want to deport anyone they don't really like. A lot of people say that they will vote for Donald Trump, mostly like his, immigration policies and also his policy towards, quote unquote wokeness or something, because wokeness, that means something apparently. I don't really know what wokeness means because nobody can explain what it means. People, they just throw the word out there and don't really explain it. The poll about, people voting for 90% of the Swedish population voting for Trump has sparked a bit of a discussion around the reasons why, people will vote for, very clear, fascist leaders like Donald Trump, even though for some strange reason, politicians in the Swedish government, for some strange and obviously very stupid reason, don't really consider Donald Trump a fascist, despite the fact that he fulfills all 12 tenets and core values of, fascism, according to Umberto Eco's, 12 tenets of fascism. So yeah, he's a fascist, a super duper fascist, not like a small fascist. So I don't know what is going on in their brains, but apparently people are just, stupid, but they are kind of liberals. So shouldn't really expect most of them to, know what a fascist is. After seeing the poll, a couple of people went out, to the central Stockholm, which is the capital of Sweden, just to check with people who they would rather vote for, Trump or Harris. The poll was, surprisingly, accurate because more people are, more partial towards Harris than, say Donald Trump, who is a fascist and also a public embarrassment to normal people. These are normal people who are not too invested in American politics, who live in another country. And they are well aware of, just how bad Trump is, really, really bad. So then let's watch this interview a bit.
Vem vill du ska vinna presidentvalet i USA?
Harris.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris.
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 Ja, det skulle jag rösta på Kamala. Jag skulle nog säga att på politiska spektrat är jag långt mer till vänster än vad hon är, men jag skulle nog föredra det.
Jag tycker hon har lite bättre koll på mänskliga rättigheter och hur som aborträtt och synen på hbtq och så vidare.
Hon har den bästa politiken och för att slippa Trump måste jag erkänna.
Och vem tror du kommer vinna?
Samma. Det är bra. Det är bättre för världen, tror jag. Jag tror nog att Trump vinner faktiskt.
Jag vet faktiskt inte. Det är ganska svårt att veta.
Tyvärr tror jag Donald Trump. Det senaste är väl att han ligger lite före opinionen och
När han vann förra gången så låg han ju lite efter och lyckades vinna ändå.
Jag tror faktiskt att det kommer bli väldigt jämnt. Man blir ju lite förvirrad när man har mätningar och så är det olika röster hela tiden. Men jag får väl jag tror ändå Harris, jag tror på det. Man måste tro på det man hoppas.
När det kommer till kritan så kommer hon att samla tillräckligt mycket röster. Jag tror att det är bra att hon ligger lite lågt nu, men så kommer hon igen.
Jag tror faktiskt att Kamala kommer att vinna. För det känns som att liksom, det finns en kandidat som folk vill rösta på och en kandidat som folk, liksom, en liten minoritet vill rösta på. Och då tror jag ändå att de som flera är mer sugna på att rösta på kommer att vinna faktiskt. Alltså, oj!
Now, I find a lot of what they were saying rather fascinating because a lot of them, a majority of them believed that, Kamala Harris was going to win, and if they could vote in the US primary, they would probably vote for Kamala Harris. But the same people who said that they were going to vote for Kamala Harris think that Donald Trump is going to win. And that is mostly because of, as one of the people in the interview, said, Donald Trump has had a rather, low popularity, voting amongst like a lot of people. But despite his low popularity and people liking him, he still somehow managed to win in 2016, which is, a concern that's because he's very low in the polls in terms of popularity. Doesn't necessarily mean that we suddenly lose the election. Even though despite the fact I think that he's still going to lose the election due to more and more people getting radicalized against the MAGA fascism that Donald Trump espouses, and basically is his entire base. And most people do not like MAGA people. Like actually average American, they will say they don't like MAGA people. But a lot of other people who said that Kamala Harris was going to win, although they did not personally agree with many of our neoliberal politics, they said that, well, I would still vote for her, even though that they are still further to the left than she was. But she's a better opinion to say Donald Trump, who is a fascist. Well, they didn't really use the word fascist, but they get the point.
Rick Perry, watch him. He's a comer.
He's very bad on basically everything from economy, from social political issues, from foreign policies and stuff. He's terrible, the absolute worst. Not really be done with people who will vote for Donald Trump, mostly because the numbers are rather low, and most people don't really want to voice the opinion of voting for a clear fascist, and because it could probably affect them a lot in a very liberal and secular society such as Sweden, which has separation from religion and state. Or say a certain fascist president Donald Trump, who wants to combine both of them and have religion influence the state, which is very, very bad and obviously very, very terrible, and it's going to have dire consequences. But a lot of the people who said that they were in the poll who said that they would vote for Donald Trump actually aren't really doing that because of his religious takes. Maybe a small tiny minority, but most of them just likes him because he triggers the labels and he's anti-woke and stuff or whatever, and also because he hates immigrants. Like I said before, they really, really like the aspect about him. But another interesting conundrum that just popped up in my brain, because the Swedish Democratic Party, the people who are mostly say that they're going to vote for Trump over Harris, they are very impartial and supportive to us having a NATO membership. They supported our country, Sweden, going into NATO. Unlike say Donald Trump, who is very, very anti-NATO. So maybe that's a contradictory position from them. Maybe something they might think of, but I personally don't think that most of them have thought far enough in their positions towards Trump. They just see anti-immigration, anti-woke, and then just go on from there without further analyzing a lot of things that he is against, that they are for, NATO membership. Anyways, I've rambled long enough. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and perhaps comment and stuff. And yeah, bye.